Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to CV Radio from the Mayor's office. I am with West Palm Beach Mayor Jerry Moyo. Good morning.
Good morning, Barry.
And we want to give a special thank you to our friends at Cosmo and Company for presenting this program with us. Mayor, I'd like to ask you a few things about things that have gone on in the city in the last couple of weeks, and
Sure.
your thoughts on some upcoming things. There was a forum last week, I think they called it, in the Northwood area. Can you tell us a little bit about what that was and what the results were? What can we look at as next coming for that?
Sure. What we did was a visioning exercise that was run by folks from our CRA. And we held an introductory meeting on Saturday, inviting everybody from the neighborhood to come in and talk to us about what they'd like to see happen in the north end of our city, which would include Curry Park, Broadway, Old Northwood. And then we had those same open houses, you might call them, or a charrette, every day that week. So people could stop in during the week and talk to us about what they'd like to see happen. And then Friday night, they presented, as they called it, the work in progress. They took all of the information and they did the beginnings of a plan for our north end. So they had some really great ideas about what we might be able to do with Curry Park and Broadway and Pleasant City. So they're going to be working on refining that. And it will ultimately be presented to the CRA board in April. And that will be our guiding document as we look forward and plan our five-year plan in terms of how we want to continue to redevelop the north end. So it's very exciting, and I think the neighbors were very excited to be a part of it.
Now, was this something that was initiated by people within Northwood, or did the city take the bull by the horns and get everybody together?
Yes. It was both. It was something that we've been wanting to do for a while, and the Northwood folks have been asking for it, and finally we were able to bring it all together and actually have it happen. Mm-hmm. So it was a great partnership between the neighborhoods and the city. The city, of course, provided the staff and made it happen, but the neighbors were asking for something like this for a while. So
Sure. Do you see events like this happening in other parts of the city?
I do.
So that would kind of be a joint venture between the city and those
Right.
particularly
areas that we're focusing for redevelopment. So, for example, South Dixie Highway has also been one of our focuses. So we have a volunteer group of people who have been working on putting together some recommendations around South Dixie Highway. Once we get that and review that, then we'll see what the next steps should be.
That area has really been developing. Those villas on Antique Row.
Yeah, they're fabulous.
I've been in there. They are a very, very nice
beautiful.
product. And I guess I believe they had some sort of an event this weekend there. And that area is definitely coming along nicely.
And we are already seeing changes to South Dixie. You know, a lot more businesses are investing in improving their facades and landscaping, and we're going to help with some federal money in targeted areas to see if we can help move that along as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're recording this week's show in the mayor's office a couple of days early because you're leaving tomorrow morning for D.C.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about what you're planning on accomplishing in that trip.
Well, we have some federal priorities that we will be talking to the people in D.C. about. Certainly, we are going to be visiting the environmental agencies and the permitting agencies, Fish and Wildlife, Army Corps, the Center for Environmental Quality, and we'll be talking with them about our concerns about the building of State Road 7 in our water catchment area, which is our water supply, and also the home of several endangered species. So we'll be talking to folks about that. We're going to be visiting people about charter schools, because we're embarking on opening our own city charter school. So we'll be talking to people in Washington about that. We'll be visiting our representatives, Representative Frankel and Deutsch and Hastings, talking to them about our legislative priorities. We're concerned because there's a proposed decrease in funding of the community development block grants, which is something we use to redevelop some of our more blighted areas. Looks like there will be decrease in funding in that, and so we'll be advocating for that not to happen.
Now, I always get a little bit, I'm always, as a taxpayer, I'm a little bit leery when I hear a politician say a reduction in spending, because it's like if we spent $10,000 this year and we ask for 15 and they only give you 12, they say it's a cut. So is this really a reduction, or is it a reduction of what you're looking at?
Well, we will learn more about it when we get to Washington, but the president's budget recommended a reduction, and I'm sure that the congressional members will seize on that because they have been wanting to reduce it as well. But we use it to do a lot of really important things in our city. We've been working on the redevelopment of Coleman Park. We've used it for paint, plant, and pave programs to help homeowners improve the outside of their homes. So I would really be not a good thing for the city if it was reduced too much.
All right, we're going to be back with West Palm Beach Mayor Jerry Moyo after this brief message from Cosmo and Company. Good morning again, everyone. Barry O'Brien. I'm with West Palm Beach Mayor Jerry Moyo from her office in downtown West Palm Beach. We were talking about your upcoming trip to Washington, and I have to ask you, because there's always a lot of criticism about these trips. Oh, she went to New Orleans, she went to Washington, and these are just junkets. And how can you make the average taxpayer feel comfortable? Why do you need to go to D.C., for example, when these people have got offices here? What do you get accomplished in these
Well,
trips?
certainly with our congressional representatives, we can see them here. But to actually go to the offices of, for example, Fish and Wildlife and Army Corps, to speak with the people there, you really don't have the opportunity to do that from West Palm Beach. And it's always been helpful, and it's very interesting. I spoke to a group of kids this morning, third graders at Westwood Elementary School. And one of the questions they asked me is, do you work with other levels of government? Which I thought was a very good question for a third grader. So I explained to them that, yes, we're going to Washington, and then later in the month we're going to Tallahassee, in part to keep those lines of communication open, and I think that that's an excellent part. We also, we have been fortunate enough to get some very nice grants. We've got a COPS grant for which made us able to hire 9 new police officers. We got a grant well over $1 million for our fire department. And it really helps to be in Washington and talk to people about the grants, to see what money's available. And when you get a letter from your congressman or woman or your senator supporting it, it's always very helpful. So.
Now, you mentioned the grants for hiring, what was it, 9 police
9 new
officers?
police officers.
All right, so you've got those grants. Who pays for them after the grants are through? You've got these people for 20 years, don't you?
Well, not necessarily. Some grants you have to commit to keeping them employed for another year or two, or the duration of the grant. So if it was a 3-year grant, you have to keep them 3 more years. This particular one for the police doesn't have those same restrictions. But in 3 years, we hope that our economic condition will be better and that we will be able to keep them on.
Sure. Speaking of economic subjects, what's the story with the Convention Center Hotel? When can we start seeing some groundbreaking and construction on that?
I don't know the answer to that. Somebody asked me that over the weekend, and I don't know the answer to that.
Okay,
So I guess we need to find out.
all right,
Next time we talk, I'll have the answer for you.
okay. Well, fortunately, we're talking every week now, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Talk to us about the boat show. What does that mean? Now, I'm seeing the memos, the streets are starting to be blocked off.
Right.
Every year, you see the time period with the boat show and Sunfest, and they bring a huge amount of people to downtown. Tell us a little bit about the economic impact.
Well,
of that.
the boat show has huge economic impact. Last year, and I don't know the numbers for this year, but last year they brought in over $1 billion worth of merchandise to our waterfront.
Unfortunately, they took it away
Yeah,
after
I
5
didn't
days.
stay
If they
here,
had left
but-
it here,
yeah.
it would have been good.
And we are on track to become soon larger than Fort Lauderdale's boat show. One of the things I learned in talking to the vendors who were there is that they really prefer our boat show because they can leave and then go out and have lunch or dinner on Clematis Street or
Right.
somewhere downtown. And because it's so integral to our downtown where it's located, the downtown businesses get a lot of business as a result, thereby contributing to our economic well-being in our downtown. So it's a great to have people from all over the county come into our city and enjoy the boat show. It's always a fabulous show.
Right, right. I always get a kick when people say that, it brought in $5 million in revenue. And it depends upon where these people come from. If they're local people, you can't just assume that these people are spending more money. I mean, if they didn't spend it on this, they would have spent it on a movie or something. But this boat show, I would imagine that a very large number of percentage of the people come from certainly outside of West Palm Beach.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe from Palm Beach County, but it's got to have a tremendous economic
And
impact.
outside of Palm Beach County, I mean, we're much more accessible than, for example, the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show. It's easy to get here, it's easy to park, it's easy to walk to the boat show. I think so. We get a lot of people from all over. So it's really an excellent boat show. And we also, we, the city, will have a booth at the boat show because one of the things that we're focusing on in our economic development plan is bringing more marine industry into our city. So we will have people in this booth talking to vendors and people as they go by about bringing your business to West Palm.
One final question. I read where you have got a new program, a landlord training program.
We do.
What's that all about?
Starting this week, we're having our first landlord training. We're asking landlords to come in. We've invited them to this training, and our hope is that we will be able to share really useful information with them about code and legal issues so that they can become better landlords. We have in some of our neighborhoods a very high rate of rentals. Some of them are kept well, some of them are not. Our goal is to get really quality rentals in our city, and we hope that through this landlord training, we will help that move
So
along.
this would primarily be the individual owners, not somebody who would be owning a lot of different units, somebody who maybe owns one unit.
Well, it's for everybody.
I want to thank you, West Palm Beach Mayor Jerry Moyo, and I want to thank Cosmo and Company for sponsoring this every weekend show. I'm Barry O'Brien, and I will see you next weekend.